Well, today on Nation, a window cleaning podcast, we are talking all about how to train your peeps. Training your people. So if you have employees or you're thinking about having employees, either way, stay tuned to WCR Nation. What's up, everybody? Jersey here from windowcleaner.com, and you are here. What is going on? If it's your first time here, have a look around. 250 plus episodes, 200 almost hours of content for you to catch up on. Go back, binge if you want. Some episodes better than others, but this has been going on for almost 5 years. Every single week. Comes out every single Friday on all podcast platforms, of course, and even on YouTube if you want to play that in the background. So check it out. If you are one of the cool kids, that means you put your orders in through me, shameless plug, then thank you. It is literally because of you that I exist in this world. I really, really want to just say I appreciate everybody who puts orders in through me. I know some of you are still putting orders in by yourself. I see the names come across every order, but I would love to put your orders in. So if you do or would or have an order, all you have to do is shoot me a text at 862-312-2026. Just be like, yo, Jersey, it's in my cart, man. Put it through. And I'll verify the address and click go for you. And all that doesn't charge you any extra, but it gives me credit for the sale. And it's like a virtual high five of awesomeness. You're actually paying me to put your order in without paying me. Right? Anyway, shameless plug there. Shameless plug number 2. If you don't know, I'm the proud owner of American Window Cleaner Magazine, and a magazine that has been out since 1986. Now, it's gone through a bunch of changes. I changed it a bunch when I took it over like a year and a half ago. But this magazine is absolutely dedicated to window cleaning. So if you're watching the podcast or listening to the podcast, go to awcmag.com or search American Window Cleaner Magazine. Not only is it an awesome magazine with articles, how to be better, how to get a bigger company, how to be a stronger company, but there's also super dope pictures, and of course, the sticker sheet. So if you like stickers, or you have buckets, or you have trucks, or anything that you want window cleaning stickers, and join the culture of window cleaning, and just be a better company, or a bigger company, or maybe get a little bit of help in building your empire, get a subscription. It would mean the world to me. awcmag.com, American Window Cleaner Magazine. Whew, go check it out. Okay, shameless plugs done for the day. I wish I didn't do that every episode, of course, but yeah, now you're through that. But we are talking about training your people. We talked about training a bunch, but I had an OG, Mr. Metler himself, send me a text and tell me how horrible my show is, and it would be so much better if I did this episode on training. So that's what we're doing. I do appreciate it. If you guys have any comments, or if you have show ideas or concept ideas, or just ideas for me to build out content from, send me a text, call me, whatever, email me smoke signals, and let me know. I love ideas. But this week, it is going to be about training your peeps, like training your people. Now, I can't necessarily go through the exact training setup that we do, but there were a couple kind of questions, and I want to just go over how you could possibly be better at training your people. Now, if you don't have employees, maybe you're thinking about it, right? Maybe you're like, yeah, I'm a one-man show, I'm good. Okay, what happens when you want to retire? What happens when you start getting older and slowing down, right? If you're the only person in your company, you don't have a company, you have a list, right? So if you're looking at selling your company eventually, or you think you might move on, it's time to build that out. And that's what employees is having. That's somebody else can take over. Everybody else is still doing the work. And now you have a company that you can sell, right? But there's no wrong way, so don't get me wrong there. But training your people is really not as hard as you think. The biggest problem is that you train people and get people when you're busy, and you're too busy then to focus on the systems that training is, right? You have to train people a certain way so that they know about your company. Because here's the thing. If you train, or you have an employee or a crew chief or an operations officer who is your trainer, how they train that person is how they'll train the next person. If you have 10 people all getting trained the same way, now you have 10 people that are doing things a certain way. The big part of this is everything from company culture to technique to procedure, systems, attitude. All of that is trained in the very beginning. It's the reason people train puppies, right? When they're new, they just soak everything up. That's what training is. When you can have an employee soaking everything up, they're going to be who you tell them to be. And there's certain things you can't train. I get that. But the other thing is that sometimes people go, well, I want them to be themselves, but I want them to do it this way. I also get that. But if you're trying to make clones of you or what you want the image to be, you need to train all of that. All of that. And there's a lot of different facets to that training. There's a lot of different facets. A lot of times people don't even think about some aspects. They don't think about, say, attitude. They don't think about greeting procedure. What happens when somebody comes up to you on the street and says, hey, you guys clean windows at houses? Well, if you don't train that situation, people might be, yeah, we do. Oh, okay. Well, we'll call you. Okay. That's you just lost the opportunity, right? So you have to train for all this, right? But how do we start training? The first day of training, there's always a few things. Always in the first day is going to be a full day of training. And it's just to get them comfortable. Here's the tools. This is how a squeegee works. Explain the rubber, right? You know, the corner of the rubber is what touches the glass. So you need to go super, super light on squeegees. Everybody tries to smash the thing in the window, and then they have such garbage luck cleaning that they're going to fight themselves the whole time, and they just don't get it. Explain to them. Just the corner has to touch. So a squeegee, you do not push. If the rubber's touching the glass, if the contact is there on the corner, you're getting water off. There's zero pressure when you squeegee. Zero. In fact, when you put more pressure on a squeegee, it actually folds under, and then you don't have good results. So you have to explain that concept to them. Explain the tools. Scrubber, squeegee. Like, what does this do? What is this tool used for? What do you look for on the glass? And a big way that I do that I love to do that, and if you have a facility, it's a great way. Even if you have a house or a shop or a storage unit or something you're running out of, go to Habitat Restore and just buy a window. They're like $20. You can get a window with no sash or nothing. You just screw that to the wall. I had second floor windows, first floor windows, ground level windows, windows over stairs. I did all of that so you could train on different window types. We also did scratch removal training that way, and you can train pole work, you can train water fed, you can train everything, which is really, really handy, right? You're building a training facility if you're just adding windows, screwing them to the wall, right? But teach them tools. People sometimes forget that everybody else doesn't know what you know. So it's really, really easy, and I'm guilty of this just as much as anybody. But sometimes people are like, can you tell me about this? And I'll start talking, and they're like, what is RODI? And sorry, it's reverse osmosis, it's deionized resin. Oh, well, what's reverse? And I'm like, I forget. I know the stuff, so my brain assumes everybody knows this stuff, right? And that's what training is sometimes, most times, people will train in for a new employee and they'll skip all of the really, really simple things, but yet the employee won't have the courage to ask because they're like, I should know this. Or worse yet, they go, I do know this, and they don't. right? And the funny thing is, I still have people who have been cleaning windows for years. Years. Oh, I've had a company for 5 years. I've been cleaning windows for 10 years. And I'll explain something on a squeegee, and they're like, I didn't know that. They've been doing it for 5 years and never figured out that you want zero pressure on a squeegee. They absolutely don't know that fact. That if you have the squeegee touching the glass, that's all you need for it to pull the water off. The contact's there, right? I teach people, by the way, I don't have a squeegee handle around me, but I put my one finger in the bottom of the squeegee, and I just do it that way and show them. I'm not even putting pressure, really. When you're smashing on the window, it's just totally different, right? So train the tools. Technique is absolutely another thing you want to train. But here's where I differ a little bit from everybody else. When I train somebody new, or my operations officer would train somebody new, they're training straight pulls and then fanning. Because here's the thing. Fanning takes some time, and I would love everybody to get in first day, start fanning. If you're not fanning 95, 99% of your windows, you're absolutely doing yourself a disservice. It's my opinion. I'm some guy that sits in front of stickers. That I'm a nobody, so don't take that, but that's my opinion. If you don't teach straight pulls, people are like, this rubber doesn't work, it's leaving a line. Well, the line is because when you're doing a straight pull, you're not turned right. I didn't know that. Still, again, people to this day do not know that is what it is. So we teach straight pulls, but we say fanning is faster. Here's how you do it. Always practice your fanning, but here's how you straight pull, right? Remember, we're trying to teach people how we want them to do this going forward. And they'll get their own, process or what they like or what works best for them. I know that. But we want to focus on how I would like to see things, and they can modify it kind of from there, right? So teach fanning. Fanning is big. But also teach straight pulls. And again, with process, it's a big variance because everybody does it a little bit different. But I always will have my operations guy be the seniorest guy, the guy that I know his process. He's doing this a long time, and I like what he does. And remember, whoever you're having train is who is going to be cloned. If that's you, if you're the trainer, awesome. They're going to clone you and how you want things done. It's great, right? But the key to all that training in technique is all repetitiveness. Clean that window 100 times. I have a big pane of glass in front of my house when I lived in Wisconsin. That's where I had my company. We would send new guys every single time. They would take a truck and go to this address. The front window, there's a big window. Clean that for 3 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever timing we had to put them out in the field. And they'd just be there. Clean it a bunch of times. Now, obviously, this is with the trainers and things to kind of get them set up and all that stuff. We don't just throw them on the glass. But I would just have them do that one window 1,000 times. Just get the feel. Because when they're in the field, I want them to at least look like they kind of know what they're doing. I don't want somebody to man, I'm paying this people $100 an hour, and this guy is learning how to clean a window on my glass, right? So get them to be repetitive. Train them on the technique, but train them on all the technique. Train them on the simplistic of the equipment. Train them on what steel wool does, bronze wool, what to look for when a razor rusts, right? What tools you use, what things you have, how to detail, what towels do what. All of that simple stuff you want to train them. Have them work super close with the best person that you have on the job. The best person that you have should be the trainer always. Always. But here's the other thing. That's where people go, oh yeah, I know all that stuff. I've trained all that. Cool. Okay. What do you do now? What do you train them on? Oh, they'll figure it out. They know how to clean glass. They can, okay, cool. Well, let's think of another thing. when they're out at somebody's house, when they're out on a route job, when they're out on a commercial job, or just getting out of the truck that is a driving billboard, what happens? People off the street will come to them and ask them, hey, you want to clean my windows? Can you give estimates? They will ask them questions. The biggest thing that you or most people are forgetting is to train people on normal tech, on sales, on procedure of contact, on customers. I will always go over our training for people. If somebody comes up to you on the street, this is what we say, right? Every single conversation you ever have, that person will leave the conversation with a plastic gift card, a brochure, and any other information you have, always. I will let them know that they're the face of the company. They don't know me, they know you now. If they talk to you, you go, hey, you know what? Let me get you a brochure. You'll have all the numbers, contact information, everything. Oh, and I also had some plastic gift cards. Give that to you so when you give us a try, we'd take a couple bucks off. It'll kind of help you out, Those type of procedures and how to communicate with people allows the experience that your company provides to be the same across all platforms. If you don't, they will handle it the way they think is best. And I know free will of an employee, you hire them for their brain, not just their back. I get it. But if you want the experience to be the same and be able to control the experience with your company, you have to train that part. What does it look like when somebody walks up to you on the street? What does it look like when the homeowner catches you in the backyard and asks you these questions? What does it look like? What do you carry on you? What do you say? What do you not say? They have to be trained for communication because I've had this before. We've had outside guys, meaning they're not crew chiefs. They're not talking to the customer before and after, but they're talking to him somewhere in the middle of the job. And then I hear later from somebody that was like, oh yeah, I talked to some guy, but man, he did not know what he was talking about. I knew the company, my brother needed a quote and they were saying it'd probably be like, $100. They didn't know. They're pretty busy. They can't get a quote. Like all this stuff. And you're like, what? Why would they say that? And you talk to them and they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know what to say. Train them. It's the reason that in, say, police training, most of the police training is not combat. Because that's not the main thing, right? The main training is communication. People, how does it look? In a McDonald's employee, every time you go into McDonald's, it is the exact same speech, tone, everything, right? Hey, when a new customer comes in, make sure that you say, hey, how are you? Welcome to McDonald's, and smile, right? Now, I know some employees are crap employees. They won't do that, but the experience is the same. It's the same thing about putting a burger together. Did you ever know there's pictures in the back that show you how to put a Big Mac together? Like every single Big Mac, well, not everyone, because again, as hard as they try, is, say bun, meat, cheese, sauce, meat, cheese, bun, or whatever. And then we'll show you how to put it on, where the ketchup goes, how many squirts of ketchup, so that every single burger across the country, the seasoning's the same, the process is the same, the burger's the same, and more importantly, the experience is the same. People lose the sight of the experience side of business. When they train, they're like, I got to get this guy up and running. I'm just so busy. He's got to know how to squeegee. Let's just put him out in the field and see what he does. You have to train the experience because that is as big a deal as how to clean a window. Remember, cleaning windows isn't that big of a deal. It's not the windows. You got to do good work, but that's what you got to do. Just good work. People hire you, rehire you, tell their friends, write you reviews, all based on the experience they had, not the clean windows. Right? People forget that. You have to train that. Another thing that people are really, really scared about is training pricing. I will always train pricing. Every single employee in every single division of my company knew exactly the price we charged, exactly why we charged it. But they also knew exactly the expenses I have to pay for that. They knew everything. People go, well, I don't tell them everything because they'll leave me. Well, obviously, you're scared you're not paying them enough. Your environment isn't good enough. People are going to leave you, sure. They're going to try to make their own thing, yeah, but not everybody can build a business. You know it's not about price. You know that. You know it's about experience. You know it's about running a business. If it was about price, then the cheapest guy would always be the biggest, baddest, whatever. If you tell your employees what you charge, how to bid it, what you're looking for, issues and good things, and they go and start their own business, all they're going to do is try to underbid you. Okay, cool. Do your thing. There's always competition. There's always going to be a bucket Bob. There's always going to be some guy who starts doing it for $1 a window. Right? So don't be scared of that. If they know pricing, when somebody goes, oh, hey, I was wondering, do you guys do house washing? You do? Yeah. What would it cost for this? It's just like a ballpark. Instead of that employee going, I don't know, maybe call the office and they will help you. They could just look at it and go, oh, great. Well, let me just look, here. And they know in their head, okay, this is the pricing structure. I also, on a side note, will pay commission to any employee in any level, in any position that brings in new work. Why? Because they did the work. They did the hard part. They sold them. They were that awesome. If you have 10 employees, if you have 2 employees, if you have however many, they're all out there doing work, but they're also salespeople for your company. How amazing is that, right? So I'm always training them on pricing. A lot of people forget the pricing. They won't give them pricing. They try to keep it hidden. Don't open this envelope. You can't see the price. Like, they're scared of that side of it. Don't be scared of that. You're building soldiers in your army, your empire, right? So make sure that they know everything. They need to know pricing so that when it comes up, they know. When they get to a job, if the pricing's not right, they know. If somebody says, oh, can you add these skylights on? They know. They can do upsells. They can do all of that. You're building little clones of you. Train on pricing. And not just what a price is, but why. Look at this job. This window here is going to cost you more than a normal window because of this air conditioner, tree, type of window, whatever, right? Train them on the why. You're starting to see why training is so expensive, right? Why keeping employees is so much better than hiring new employees, but with growth comes new employees. You're making clones that know everything to follow in your footstep. I don't care if employees know all of my jobs, who I do, what I charge, because you're going to go in there and be like, hey, remember me? I do it for less. You're only on price. That's all they know, right? Build the experience. Train them on price and don't be scared. But also train them on procedure. Now, procedure is different than actually cleaning the glass. It's different than pricing. Procedure is, this is what it looks like when you pull up to a house. This is what it looks like when you pull up to a route job. This is what it looks like when you pull up to a commercial job. Remember, the experience has to be the same. If you pull up to a house, I want the exact speech, the exact greeting, the exact background, all to be the same, right? When somebody pulls up to the house, how they're talking, the crew chief is doing this while the tech is doing this. Now, if you just hired a new tech, he still knows what the crew chief is doing. He still knows the exact procedure of the crew chief because then he knows where his place is. They work perfectly in every single job throughout the day, week, month, and year. Everything is the same. That's training. You don't lose sight of something if they know everything. When you get out of the truck, this is what I want you to do. You're on the passenger side. You get out. You open up your bin, you start to put your belt on. Your belt goes on first before you touch anything else. Your bucket pulls off the truck, and the ladder or water fed comes off the truck. Those are the procedures, boom, boom, boom. That's how it looks. I want it done this way. And don't let that all fall to the wayside. If they're not doing it that way, they need to then be, hey, just so you know, it has to be done this way, this way, this way, this way. This training is how you can build a system, a book. I can get a binder and hand it to you and go, here's my company. I have success. If you want success, if you buy this company, here's success. This is the procedure and how everybody does things every single time. Train procedure for each job. What does it look like? How do you act? How does it go about? How do things go? Right? Go back and check on what they're doing and make sure that everything is going through. We call it auditing. But when new employees audit, I'll just tell my crew chief, hey, today, make sure you audit him like 3-4 times. That means just as soon as he does something, go back and, cool, let's just go over what you did and why you did it. Just double check. It takes 2 seconds. When you do a window, audit the window. Just check the window. How do they do? Look over things and let them know. This is super heavy in the very beginning. Because just like a dog, if a dog pees on the carpet when you get it, a puppy, you have to tell it, don't pee on the carpet. And how you do that, maybe you put its face in the thing, or maybe whatever. Dogs can't communicate. With people, you could just explain it. Hey, FYI, this is, we do it a little bit different than this. See this? You want to do this and this and this to fix that. Oh, great. Audit them again the next day. Audit them again from there. Audit the procedure. Have the person behind you listening to your speech if you're the crew chief. Have them listening to how things go so they can get audited to make sure they're doing it right. Big thing is STAR program. I always talk about the STAR program. I'm not going to talk much on that this time, but the STAR program is all of my employees have pictured name tags, just another thing that we can use as a USP. And then the STAR programs show where they are in rankings. Now, it's great between each other as employees, right? Oh man, I just got a 3. I'm a 3-star now. We'd always hear it as jokes, you know. Somebody would be on the truck and be like, man, I'm a 3-star. What are you talking about? Right? They were proud of that. But in that STAR program, it's training, books, learning, testing. It is years of service and different star levels. Every star level gets paid different. And every star level has different things they can do. So a 1 or 2 star level cannot drive one of the trucks. To do that, they have to move up to the star level, right? 1-star person cannot make first contact with the customer. They're not ready for that, right? So STAR programs just allow you to kind of keep track of that more or less. But the biggest thing, absolute biggest thing that you can do in training new employees overall is train them on philosophy. Train them on your company's philosophy. Now, if you don't have a philosophy, if you don't have a USP, unique selling proposition, if you don't know why you're better or different than everybody else, that's your first problem. Figure that out. You can't train what isn't known. But as soon as you know who you are, who your company is, and more importantly, what that experience should look like with XYZ company every single time, if you know your USP, train them on your USP. Here at XYZ, we want to make sure that the customer experience is first. We want to make sure that they are blown away by everything and we just keep going on top of it. We walk through, they can see everything's amazing. Once they're just absolutely amazed with everything, we're going to schedule their next appointment. We do the dentist close on every single customer because they want to be this happy again next time. Awesome. They're so happy. By the way, here is some plastic gift cards. Oh my gosh. I'm happy. They schedule. I get to be happy again in 3 or 6 months and they give me free money. Maybe it's a treat at the end. Maybe it's a thank you Starbucks coffee card, right? You're charging $300. At the end, you say, hey, thanks again for just being awesome. Here's a Starbucks card for $5. It's nothing in the scheme of things, but yet in their brain, that's the philosophy. That's what you as a company want to show every single customer. The philosophy of your company is even more important than training how to fan. When you build an employee, and I'm using that term because people kind of always are like, well, you kind of get what you get. No, you're building an employee to be exactly how you want it every single time. Exactly how you need them to be. Build a philosophy in their head as much as train them on everything else. I know training sucks. I know it takes a long time. I know it's expensive. And I know a lot of us end up training in busy time because that's when we need more people. But spending the time on training allows you that a year later, they could be your trainer. If they trained so well, they know everything. Now you made a clone of you. That clone is then teaching the next person, right? Understand that you're going for the long term here. I know employees don't all stick around. But if you, in your head, think they will be around for 10 years, you're going to train them way better than if you think they're just a temporary person. Right? Awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate everything from you guys. And again, I am a rep for windowcleaner.com. That is what I do for a living. It's how I make my money. It is absolutely everything as far as income for me. So if you have any orders at all that you want to put in, you're going to put them in with us anyway, right? We are absolutely the best window cleaning supplier by far. Our customer service is amazing, and I want to be part of that experience for you. So give me a call, shoot me a text, even better, 862-312-2026. That's my cell phone. Shoot me a text, be like, yo, Jersey, everything's in my cart, man, run it. I just go, awesome, pull it up. Your address still 123, I'll send it off. Thank you so much. It costs you nothing extra, and you're helping me out. People always ask about Patreon. Everybody wants to be Patreon, or everybody wants to go through private coaching. Private coaching is full. It's always full. It's pretty hard. People stick around for a long time in the private coaching side. But on that side of it, if you ever want to do, I don't do Patreon. I just put in orders. So let me know. Another thing, if you want to go even above and beyond and be the most epic cool kid, again, I'm hawking the magazine. American Window Cleaner magazine is absolutely phenomenal. So good. So good. Journalists are amazing. Pictures are amazing. If you guys have pictures, send them in. I want to have pictures. We want you in articles. I want to get you published. Let me know and all that. But more importantly, go to awcmag.com. Get a subscription because it would mean the world to me. But either way, until next time, make sure your training is on point. But more importantly, go out there and be epic.